Hello, hello, hello. It's coffee time. It's warm. It's too warm for this. There you go, it's coffee time. What's happening in the world? Well, news broke late last night about the story of Mo Farah, or Sumo Farah. He's the runner, the sprinter, long distance fellow who won at the Olympics and has been knighted and whatnot. Apparently he's not real, he's fake. He's a fake Mo Farah. I jest, but he throws up some interesting stories because he reveals that his identity is a complete lie. Let me just pull up a picture of him. Here he is with a picture of himself as a child when he was brought here. Yeah, so it seems that dear old Mo was brought here by people smugglers under a different name. Mo Farah isn't his name. So his real name is Hussein Abdi Kahin, and he was actually born in Somaliland rather than Somalia, which is north of Somalia. Somaliland's north of Somalia. His father was killed and he was separated from his mother, and he was brought here. I think, again, I don't know if to be a domestic slave. Of course, there'd be many people who go, strip him of his knighthood and stuff like that. But it brings the hard reality of what people smuggling is, and how we do need to have borders and border forces, and we need to take these kind of crimes seriously. A child, he obviously sold into slavery, but luckily he made something of himself. It's a shocking story, and that again, slavery in the modern age still exists, and this is nothing compared to what the EU free movement allowed, where we had women, mainly women, trafficked from Eastern Europe into the UK and other parts of Europe, in France, Germany, to work in prostitution. This is happening today, and the EU allows that to happen with free borders, because when you've got open borders, bad people take advantage of it. In an ideal world where there was no crime and there was no exploitation and there was no child slavery or sex slavery, we'd be able to have this utopia. But until we get rid of that, we can't, right? So like I say, the right-wing nut jobs are saying, he should be stripped of his knighthood, he should be sent back to Somaliland. But I think he's done enough for this country. He's been a great ambassador for us, and it's a really sad story, But it's also positive because it shows you that you can, get out of slavery. But again, what is the truth? Maybe there's more to the story. I don't know. I think journalists might need to have a little poke around to find out who was behind it. Who did the smuggling. Not that I'm not saying he's a criminal. I don't want people to misquote me. I've got to be careful what I say, but it'd be interesting for them to see if they can actually find out who did this. Meanwhile, the Met Office are warning that, oh God, we're going to break records. The Met Office do the weather for the UK. It's going to get so hot. It's going to get so hot that it could hit 100 degrees on Sunday. I'm thinking of buying another fan. I've got the fans off, and it's just it's not too hot. It's not too hot. Or 28. But it's not sunny out. It's cloudy at the moment. But boy, it's unpleasant. I have real trouble sleeping in all this. But yeah, will it ever end? Will it ever end? Okay, yeah, there you go. This is on US. I'm just taking all this from the Daily Mail website, of course. The secret sharing app Whisper. Do you use that? And these are some of the questions men really want to ask their wives. For example, why is it fair if I stay fit but my wife gains 30 pounds in 1 year? Let's see. That's the question. See, this is Whisper for you. Why does my wife dress sexy when she goes outside but never when it's with me? Why does my wife get so mad when I watch porn by myself? Seriously, I never have trouble performing in bed with her. She just doesn't want it as often as I do. It's not cheating. There we go. Why does my wife touch her phone every morning before she touches me? These are great questions. Of course, we all know that the main question is, wife, where's my sandwich? Where's that cup of tea you promised? All right, missus? Don't worry, the missus is watching. I'm allowed to ask that question. And I think I've broken the browser already. Is it chugging? Is it chugging? Maybe that'll be a bit better. I don't know. Who knows? Are you still there? It went a bit clunky at this end. I think it's the heat. I think my poor computers just find it really hard to cope. Don't worry, it'll be seamless. No one will notice. That no one will see the join. I don't know. I think things have actually got worse since I did the update. I think it's got worse. What other stories are there? Female lout called a neighbour a fat arse and hurled ageist abuse at her friend. As they move the house, must pay them £150 in compensation. That's Francine O'Reilly of Sefton Park in Liverpool. I mean, come on. She called him. She called her one woman, Miss Mealia, a fat arse, and Valerie Carmichael an old. See you next Tuesday. Let's have a look at her. This is Francine O'Reilly from Liverpool. Let's have a look at her. There she is. Having a fag, isn't she? She's having a fag. Come on, people. Everybody knows that moving home is one of the most stressful things that you can do in your life. And people are going to get a little bit upset. But yeah, she got that to pay each victim £70 in damages. And so it's 150 quid and plus 295 quid in costs. That was an expensive expletive, wasn't it? Very expensive. That's justice for you. That's the law. Well, this is a good one. This is the story of Deborah Daisy, who was verbally abused by an aggressive man whilst working for Marks and Spencer's. This was in November 2020. It was, to her, it was a traumatic event, and the shopper refused to wear a mask, so he was an anti-masker. And she was off for 5 months with anxiety and depression because of this. The fact that her man was nasty to her and wouldn't wear a mask. She had 5 months off, and then Marks and Spencer's fired her. They let her go. But she took him to a tribunal, and she won. She actually won the tribunal. Employment judge Timothy Knowles concluded, "It was my conclusion that outside the band of reasonable responses which might have been adopted by employer acted reasonably to dismiss without sharing the findings about the issues she had raised in relation to her personal safety. I'm surprised that the matter was not explored. And Marks and Spencer is a well-resourced retailer, and given that they know about the plight of shop workers and abuse they suffer at work is generally well known." I mean, come on. 5 months off. I mean, come on. Really? I mean, I think she'd be soft. She needs to tough up a bit, doesn't she, really? Needs to toughen up a bit. I mean, really? Meanwhile, we have more about the Tory race to the finish line. For those of you who are following it, there are the runners and riders. Dishy Rishi's at number 1, Penny Mordaunt, so it looks like she's following up the rear. Tom Tugendhat and Liz Truss. Now they've got to get 20 votes to get to the next round, and they reckon that this is going to be decided by the 5th of September. So they want this all kind of done by the end of the week, and then they put it out to the vote to the Conservative who are members of the Conservative Party. So it's going to be a quick one. It's going to be a quick one. So it's going to be between Rishi and Penny Mordaunt. Some are saying you should back Mordaunt. I think she might be the popular vote, amongst the on the polls. But I don't know. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. For some reason they don't want Rishi to be the Prime Minister. This is an interesting story. Ghost patients. They've been poring over NHS statistics. Right. They reckon there are 61.7 million patients registered at practices throughout England, but they reckon the population is 56.5 million. So there's around 5 million patients who do not exist and are registered at GP surgeries. And of course, this. Well, I don't know. What does this do? It just means there are dead accounts on the computer? Does it mean that surgeries are more popular than they seem? Or, I don't know. But yeah, where did the 5 million people go? Did they all go back to Europe? And again, just, it makes you ask questions. Where did these 5 million people go? But yeah. Meanwhile, Katie Riley's another lucky winner in the tribunal stakes. She worked for Subway in Glasgow, and she won an harassment claim because she's a vegan. She's a vegan working in Subway. She's a vegan, works in Subway, and she won £13,000. How did she win the lottery? Because apparently her boss, she claims her boss waved meat in her face and urged her to eat the food that she was allergic to. Yeah, she had an allergy to a number of foods and carried an EpiPen with her, And he would wave food under her nose at the petrol station shop in Bridgerton, Glasgow, and say, "Go on, eat it. What could happen?" One of his phrases was, "Eat like a man, walk like a bull." He was full of bull, wasn't he? But yeah, she's a vegan who suffered from many allergies. And she was sacked after an investigation was carried out by the local council. But somehow, the employment tribunal found that she was fired for making protected disclosures. And her boss's comments went against the Equality Act, against it, as veganism constitutes even a philosophical belief. Wow. So you can't even joke now to vegans. Can't even joke about eating beef. Wow. It's those vegans, eh? Remember, folks, how do you know if someone's a vegan? Don't worry, they'll soon tell you. Who wants to see a twat with a snake? Anyone? We're going to Liverpool. This is a news agency in Toobrook in Liverpool. Alwyn Maynard. He was visiting the news agents to buy a bottle of water, but he managed to record a very strange encounter. There was a woman there, and let me just pull up the video footage. Who brought a snake into the shop, and then the snake decided to go for a walk. There you go. And of course the newsagent is in a right old panic. There you go. Can't take your dog in the shop, so why should you be allowed to take your snake in there? Meanwhile, the WHO, not the horrible WHO, but the WHO, the World Health Organisation, has come out with the startling pronouncement that sex is not limited to male or female. It's a bit, but I imagine it's a bit more complicated than that. In the new guidance they're going to be publishing, They've said it goes beyond the use of binary terms. You have the sperm and the egg. Man and female, that's all there is in terms of biology. Lou said its guidance will go beyond non-binary approaches to gender and health and recognise gender and sexual diversity are the concept that gender identity exists on a continuum and that sex is not limited to male or female. Oh, God. Oh, will the madness end? It's just lunacy. It's like the denial of basic science. It's the overcomplication of it. You know, non-binary means nothing. That's the beauty. If non-binary means nothing, because this is all meaningless. Yeah? Binary is either on or off. It's 1 or 0. It's male, female, black or white. Non-binary means nothing. It means none of those things. It exists outside. It exists outside. I want to be special. I want to be non-binary. I'm hoping that in 10 years we'll look back at all this and go, what happened? What happened in the 20s? How did everyone go so bloody mad? Again, live as you please, but don't be stupid. Meanwhile, scientists have got the most detailed picture of the universe. It goes back, what's that, like 13 billion years or something? I don't know. It's a long time ago. 13.5 billion years into space they've been looking. And this is the James Webb Space Telescope. And here it is. Here you go. Do you have a look at this? I don't know about you, but that looks like the opening credits of Doctor Who from the 1980s, the Peter Davison years, doesn't it? I think they spent an awful lot of money on the Doctor Who opening credits. I think someone's on a con here. But even this, the James Webb Telescope, has come under flack from the gender woo-woo crowd because they reckon that James Webb in the 50s was anti-LGBTQPLXNOP. They reckon he was a bad man and want his name removed from the project because, hey, that's important. Not staring back into time when all this gender shit never existed. Yeah. Meanwhile, New York City officials released a new 90-second video telling you what to do in the event of a nuclear attack. Remember, folks, don't breathe in the nuclear dust. That's the first thing you've got to remember. There you go, there she is. Remember, try and avoid the flash. And put your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye. Isn't that the old advice, isn't it? And this is a sad story. This is we're going to Ukraine, and this is the story of a little dog who was discovered by explosive experts because they reckon Russian special forces had beat up a dog, and there is the dog, and you think that's terrible, but what they did is they booby-trapped it with a bomb, and it's highlighted on the picture, apparently. And you go, what? They're booby-trapping animals, but now they've called him Fox. He's a lovely looking guy. There he is. They saved him and they've nursed him back to him. Whoops. He says, I've gone crazy. The wrong buttons. Don't worry, nobody will notice. My mouse has got a mind of its own. It flew all over the place then. I've got no control of what I'm doing anymore. I'm going to throw this computer out the window. No one's watching. It's okay, because no one is watching this. No one is watching. We could say that's the end of the animal story, but well, I think we'll finish with this one. This is Barbie. Everyone know Barbie? Barbie is it's a toy, isn't it? And they've brought out a new Barbie because they've done that. I don't know have you seen the David Bowie ones? They brought out Bowie Barbies. Yeah. But this is a new one. This is... I've got to get the picture. This is the Jane Goodall Barbie. I don't know if you know Jane Goodall. She's worked with looking after primates in the jungle. They made gorillas in the mist about her and everything. Well, it's a new Jane Goodall Barbie. And you're probably thinking, what's so special about this one? Well, when you open the box, you go, because they've managed to make it smell like gorilla shit. I don't write any of this stuff. As you can see, this wholly unprofessional arrangement, which has been... I just want to give up. It's been awful today. It's been a disaster. My normally fluid... I mean, yesterday was much better. Today, absolute diabolical. Diabolical. Let's see if there's anybody in. Max is in. He says, I'm here. Peter says, what is that on your head? I don't know. What is on my head? You tell me. How about... again, I think I block you because I don't like people who want to talk about my appearance. Bye, Peter. Andrew says, morning, Darren. Born here, like Hawaii. Yeah, it is. It's very warm, isn't it? But anyway, like I said, no one was watching that. Thank God. And let's never ever talk about this stream again. Remember, folks, that was the news, rather badly presented because everything went wrong. Drink it up.